this social media thing definitely isn't getting to me. I'm just better than everybody else, you know?
Hey, Emma, what drum kit do you use?
Am I too old to start playing drums?
Should I get lessons?
How do I play fast?
When will I start sounding good?
What's up, party people? Welcome to this week's episode of Missing a Beat, the podcast where we talk about drum-related topics and music-related things. Chris, tell me what drumming-related / music-related thing we're talking about today.
The question is, have you noticed yourself becoming a role model to people? If you have, has it had any impact on how you go about doing anything content-wise? And anything really surrounding this as a topic conversation I think is quite interesting, because this has happened quite quickly for you in terms of how many people know of you in the drumming world.
Yes.
And it's a responsibility that you may or may not have realized. So we would normally discuss this stuff off air, but we thought, let's go for it and do it on a podcast instead.
Yeah, I'll talk about anything, which is probably to my detriment being so influential. No, I'd say there have been a couple young girls, where they've I've been able to have an influence on them and to be able to inspire them or motivate them to do more drumming or get back into drumming or whatever, which has been amazing. Like being able to send, I don't know if I won't mention names or anything, but there was a case of like a young girl was starting to get a bit like frustrated or was being picked on for her skills basically by a conductor of all things, an adult.
Oh, wow.
And her dad messaged me and it was just like, well, instead of me giving advice, I'll just send them a video basically. And it's things like that, being able to actually talk so directly-ish to people so quickly and have that impact is amazing. It's awesome. But the thing I get more of is adults usually, and gender isn't really involved or anything, but like inspiring people to play drums. At the moment there's a lot of comments where I'm getting people like, I've picked up drums because of you. You finally made me kind of do it, which is awesome. That's amazing. Currently everything is very positive on that front, and I'm very glad, because it's a privilege to be able to just be like, what I do makes people want to go and do a thing that is amazing. So it's just overall very positive, and I like it a lot.
It's really cool to see. And obviously so I've been very much behind the scenes since we've launched Love to Learn Drums and put you onto social media as like educator, and for me it's been really cool to see the impact that your lessons have had. And obviously we, for those of you that probably may or may not realize, we put a lot of effort into thinking about the content that Emma puts out, right? And then Emma spends a lot of time then delivering it and tweaking it, and like we have put all of our energy and efforts into the quality of the delivery and what actually is the content inside of it, and not the production quality. Because one of the things you see a lot with a lot of drum videos is people and tutorials, they spend a lot of time trying to make it look pretty and the drum kit sound amazing and all these things. Whereas we've kind of gone opposite and done it in your bedroom and been very open and transparent about that, and not trying
makes it more relatable.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a thought process at first to try and make it more relatable. Yeah, it was a necessity, but actually, and because we get asked it by companies, like, is this a like marketing tactic, right? Multiple times I've been asked this. And I'm like, no, but actually we realize how relatable it is, and it is become an important part of it. And we have shot stuff in the studio that's more professional, and that's cool, and that's done its thing. And
it's got to the point now where, I mean, the goal was always to upgrade a bit and make it good, but it's still about the actual meat of the actual information. What it is that
you're talking about, the information. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
As long as that's enough to get across, then
So from my perspective on all this, what's really great is to see that like what we've worked on as a team, and there is a team behind this, guys, for those of you that might not, because it doesn't necessarily look like that. Again, Emma being in her room. Thank you for all the Alpine team and the Love to Learn Drums team. Everyone's been involved, because it's made it possible. But the impact that it's had and the influence that you've had on it, and through from very well known drummers to people that have never picked up the drumsticks before, we managed to hit every end of the spectrum, which is really cool. And we don't spend much time reflecting on this, and we
Yeah.
would normally, if we do, we'd talk about it maybe in a Zoom call when we're chatting and catching up. But yeah, it's been really cool to see that influence, and like
I'd say the only difference now from when I started is maybe slightly less colourful language and maybe censored slightly, like just so it doesn't quite peak the same, like it just doesn't need to be there so much. I could be more eccentric and more like just swearing all over the place, which in some occasions it is quite funny and does work. But as a general rule, it doesn't mean the information gets across any differently. It's just a different angle on it. And also it means, for me, it's kids can see it as well. Which is amazing because it's just a good thing all round, really.
Yeah, it is.
So that's the only difference, really.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's been the thing. Obviously, we've talked about this, and sometimes you do swear, and we just bleep it out. And
it is quite odd. Like in my head, the size of the audience isn't changed. There was never a specific size of audience I was talking to. It's just this. I don't know what does this kind of essence of people are watching. Yeah,
just more awareness that what you say and do obviously is reaching more people, or it has potentially an influence, and so you have a responsibility that you didn't even think about when you first turned the camera on a couple of years ago, right?
It wasn't still I think until it gets more day-to-day real life people talking to me about that or the content I've created, it still isn't quite there yet in terms of like, oh my god, this is day-to-day people actually it being part of my everyday thought process in life, which is a benefit, because I think otherwise, like with any great, like with music artists, it's like the pressure would then potentially be on in some way. But I have a feeling I think I'll be all right. I think
you will. I think seeing how when we went to the UK drum show and you dealt with that, and there was a lot of people and a lot of attention, and it went from almost 0 to 110 in very quick time frame. And we've talked about this already, so I won't talk about it too much, but like we
check out that podcast if you want us to actually
go and check that one out,
depth.
which is us talking more about what happened at the drum show. But like actually experiencing it in person probably put it into perspective for me for the first time, even though I knew that was what was going to happen. Actually physically being there and seeing, a young drummer, especially that one girl that came up to you after the performance and, really was just like ecstatic, and you really got to feel it, right? Instead of lots of random comments on the screen. And you saw the impact that it's had on people's lives directly. And that's probably something that the more of those events that you do, the more you'll become aware of that. Because honestly, it's very hard from a screen to have this understanding from a screen, isn't it? Really, like because not much has changed in your life in this time frame, really.
Well, it's also on a slightly different tangent. I think Brittany Broski talks about this quite a lot. It's that parasocial relationship between you and your audience. Your audience knows you better than you know them. Yeah, on a one-to-one level, which is something I'm yet to fully encounter, but that might be something that comes up. But to me, that actually lifts a lot of weight of like small talk, because people already know kind of part of who you are. Obviously, you don't know the whole shebang. I'm far more multifaceted than that. Far more complex. But yes, that might be something interesting as things continue to grow. We're going to watch this video back in a couple of years and go, yep.
It'd be fun to watch it back and see what the have the same conversation in
well, even we filmed our original Zoom meetings. I don't know where they are. You probably don't know where they are. When we were talking about all of this, theorizing it.
About that. Yeah,
so that might be interesting to find.
I think our very first meeting has been recorded. That could be fun to look back at. Yeah.
God, that's weird.
Yeah.
But I'm in the same room, in the same spot.
Yeah. So it was a different podcast, but we decided that we were talking about it off air, and we we're like, you know what, maybe this would be of interest to people. And it's not directly drumming related, but it definitely is related to
Listen,
you, Emma.
that's what the disclaimer at the beginning's for.
Exactly.
It's drum-related things, and also talking all about me, because obviously I'm the star, and this social media thing definitely isn't getting to me. I'm just better than everybody else, you know. It's hard being me. It's so difficult. Oh. Anyway, if you want to check out other podcasts where we do actually talk about drumming-related things, then feel free to check those out. It's the same podcast. Check it out. Either way, have a great week, and we will see you in the next episode. Big love.